This video is not just going to be about Club de Nuit Intense Man. However, I do want to preface and say that this was one of the first fragrances that I had in my collection, and I liked it so much that I ended up getting my dad a bottle of it himself. Now, he's not a fragrance person like I am. Where I've kind of grown and explored within different areas of the industry. He's more bargain bin, kind of a little of the cheaper sense, the synthetic sense, and it works well for him. Kudos to him. But for me, I like a little extra with my scents. I like the storytelling. I like the scent development. I like a lot of different things with fragrances. So we're going to touch upon the differences in my opinion, between each level of fragrance, such as designer privé, such as luxury niche, artisanal, oils. I'm really excited to actually bring oils into the mix in this video. So if that sounds interesting to you, and if you still don't know what we're doing, hey, stick around, let the music play, and when we get back, we'll kind of dive deeper into the video. I'm still holding Club de Nuit Intense Man. Why? I don't even know, but it will be a center point of our video. So, biggest thing I just want to say before we get into it, like, subscribe, share, comment. Comment maybe the first fragrance that you ever bought and what it means to you. Is it still within your collection? And then hit that notification bell, so obviously when I post a video, you guys are aware of the video that I'm posting and you're first to join. But just want to say thank you for the support, and I'm truly enjoying this channel grow. So let's get into the topic at hand, because there is quite a bit to discuss and I don't want this video to run long. Dupes are a huge topic in this fragrance community. A lot of people say it's good enough for me. Even the Middle Easterns kind of coming into the play with the Middle Eastern fragrance houses, Latafa and so on. And I don't necessarily want to say anything bad about it, because I'm personally just not a fan. I haven't smelled anything that I've gone out my way and said, this is something I really want to get. And the thing that kind of intensified, I guess, the negative connotation with it is I did want to start up sort of like a beard oil company, and I was looking for something that had fragrance oils that I could create my own scent. Now, I had a friend in Dubai. He had a connection on oils, and a lot of the oils that he showed me were inspirations of. So there was a little bit of artistry already done with the fragrance, meaning that there was some mixing done, and the clear intention of these vats, these big bottles of oils that they sell, was to imitate fragrances that already exist. Prime example, Dior Sauvage, right? The Elixir, the regular, Bleu de Chanel, the regular, and so on and so forth. I wasn't too pleased with it. And realistically, I thought that, given that you're in Dubai, you'd have a little bit more of a connection to the essential oils. Like if I wanted pure oud, right? With certain characteristics, I'd be able to get that without the inspirations of. So I took a step back, because not only was that just a turn off in itself, I also had to kind of take a step back and be like, hey, let me study more about perfumery. Let me get some certifications eventually when that happens, and then I'll kind of start diving into it and playing around with oils, just so I know that what I'm producing is more safe. So that to me kind of started to get me away from the Middle Eastern perfumes, because a lot of what is done is very much so half-assed. And even though a lot of people praise the presentations, the bottle designs, the boxes that the fragrance comes in, it's just not something that necessarily attracts me, because once all the glitz and glamour is done, I have, a larger collection. I don't want the boxes. I just, it's tired of seeing the clutter and things like that. Once the glitz and glamour is done, realistically, it's about the juice you put on your skin. And for me, it's very important that even if I'm spending a minuscule amount of money or a large amount of money, I want the opening to be just as much of a wow factor as the dry down and the end of the fragrance, right? And to me, that's what I find dupes don't do, right? And Middle Eastern fragrances don't do. There's a lot of synthetics. Kamra, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was the dupe of Angel Share from Killian. And as I know, I don't have too many Killians in the collection, but when I smelt Kamra, there was something so disgustingly cloying about that fragrance that even though the dry down had reminiscence of Angel Share from Killian, you could tell that Killian, who is, the creator of Hennessy, there's that expertise that comes with an Angel Share. And even though you're saving X amount of dollars by picking up Camera to get that same type of smell, I do not want that cloying mess on my skin for the opening to then develop to something that is similar to Angel Share. I just rather spend the money and get Angel Share and wear Angel Share because the opening to dry down is pretty damn good. So that's sort of kind of where I sit. Now, I still have Club de Nuit in my collection because, truthfully, I think it's good when it comes to, what it offers. It does have that lemon pledge type of opening, but then it does quickly dry down to the Aventus-like fragrance that we all know and love. It's not one for one. It's not, it's not something that you can say, yeah, this is absolutely the Aventus killer. It really isn't, but it does a great job. And, as a gym scent, as something that's just, regular, inoffensive, I think it does a great job, right? This, to me, is done well. I think even Très Nuit, the Green Irish Tweed dupe from Armoff, is done pretty well. It's just, as good as it is, when you start kind of exploring few more niche items, you're not going to necessarily gravitate to this because you do kind of seek that type of quality. Even designer, you kind of seek that quality. And for me, I do like Club de Nuit. I still have it. I probably will never sell it because I just think, for the price that you get it for, it's done really well. It's just, I know what to expect when I wear the fragrance. And at times I want more than I know what to expect when I wear a fragrance, right? Because days are numbered in life, right? If you have a semi-larger collection or you're an enthusiast of the fragrance, each day that you wear a fragrance, you want it to resemble you, your style, your personality, who you are as a person. And, truthfully speaking, days are numbered in a year. At least in Toronto, we get 4 different seasons. The cooler seasons, you want to wear something a little bit more heavy. The warmer seasons, you want to cut through the heat. So, you kind of want to assemble your wardrobe, your fragrance wardrobe, a little bit more carefully. Now, speaking of which, let's talk about designers, right? And to me, I think designers, I have Bottega Veneta, Salvia Blue. I've talked about this a lot. It's fun, it's clean, it's, summery, very, very nice, beautifully fruity, has a little bit of that aquatic nature. Done fantastically well. Longevity, probably not the greatest. It's discontinued now. I don't know why Bottega Veneta discontinues so many of their fragrances. Very irritating. But it's a wonderfully fun, lovable fragrance. I love it. There is quality here. You get that upper step in quality with the designers, but then you're dealing with a little bit more synthetics. You're not getting the pure, that pure burst of the wonderful notes that are being used. It seems sometimes a little bit more diluted, a little bit more watered down because, they kind of want to sell more. You got to spray more so you can buy more, right? And that's how sometimes it does feel with designer fragrances. And even though some people stay here in this, selection and category of fragrances, that's fine. I still feel like I want more because, designers, they're pretty up there in price. And, you can get some niche fragrances for less than designers and you'll immediately notice, the quality difference. For example, I always talk about is Sospiro, right? Sospiro Contralto, Sospiro Vibrato, Basso, a couple other ones that I have, which I haven't even talked about yet. Deep Ocean Amber or Deep Amber Ocean, however the name goes. All wonderful, wonderful options. And, as much as I do like designers, I wouldn't spend too much time here because, realistically, you kind of know what you're getting. You're getting a little bit of synthetics. You're getting, that beautiful bright burst. And then, for the rest of the day, you're wondering, where did my fragrance go? And to me, that doesn't necessarily play too well. Then you got like, your indie companies. And your indie companies, I think they do, fantastic things. But I do think there's a little bit of chaos when it comes to the indie companies. And the one that I have in my hand here is Gallagher Fragrances, and this is Behold Patchouli. I think this is really well done, really well. And it's wonderful. This one is a orange citrus frankincense chocolate patchouli honeyed amber musk fragrance. I just read it from the bottle. You get the deep rind of the orange. You get that orange note. You do get the frankincense. I think the biggest note here that I'm getting right off the bat is the honey amber mixed in with the chocolate. It does make it dark. And then that patchouli kind of brings in that earthiness. Now, the thing with this is I do notice a lot of the notes individually. I don't notice the blendability, like the mastery of the blend. Think about Raja, right? Raja Dove fragrances, especially maybe some of the higher end fragrances. He packs his fragrances with a ton of notes, right? To pick out each individual note is almost near impossible. This one, you can definitely pick it out, right? And as much as I do like indie fragrances, you're taking a risk on them. Availability of samples is very risky. It's very limited. So a lot of blind buying occurs here. And, based off of how many mLs you get sometimes per mix, on a price per ml standpoint, it could be a little bit pricey, but they do run sales quite a bit. So that kind of does help if you're patient enough to wait. So I do like Behold Patchouli. I think, when you're talking about indie fragrances, you're looking at a little bit more risk, a little bit more creativity. So there could be situations where you may just not mess with the fragrance, and buying and selling is something that can occur. Trading can occur. And, before you actually settle on something that is, the end all be all, one of the masteries of your of a selection in your fragrance wardrobe, it could be a long time coming, which means, a lot of searching. And yeah, it's a lot of discovery, a lot of houses that do indie work, but I do like this. I think this one won an award. So if you do want to check out something that's a little bit dirty with the dirty patchouli, a little bit chocolatey and honey, I think Gallagher Fragrances holds it down. But it is a very, be careful type of fragrance. Now we're going to talk about high-end niche. I think, you've heard me say many great things about this fragrance. This is Tobacco Sapphire. My biggest goal with this fragrance was getting a tobacco that I loved. And this is a tobacco that I love. That's exactly what I was looking for. I wanted something that was a little bit rough around the edges. I wanted something that focused more on the tobacco aspect without, overcomplicating the sweetness, like a Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. I do think Tobacco Vanille is great, but it lacks that refinement. I think this solves that issue really well. The spices are fantastic. It's very sparkly. The tobacco is wonderful. The longevity is wonderful. The price point is not so wonderful, but it's kind of what you get, what you pay for. A lot of this fragrance is based off of the experience, the wearing experience that you get, which speaks volumes about the blendability, which also speaks volumes about the quality of ingredients being used and the perfumer that is behind it. So, you know, a lot of a lot of comparability to Amouage Royal Tobacco, which is definitely a little bit more drier, less sweeter, a little bit more harder to wear. I think Tobacco Sapphire really kind of takes the roughness and really adds that wearability to it. And my goodness, in the cooler weathers, this is an experience. This is something that you're just kind of like, this is really good. And to me, when you're talking like that, especially from the start to the dry down, what they're asking for in terms of price, look at discounters. This to me is a no-brainer in the collection, and absolutely love it. And you can tell the quality. That's the difference between the designers, the indies. You can really, really, really tell the quality difference in something that's a little bit more luxury niche. Now, before we jump to the last step, I just wanted to showcase this. I got my haul today. You'll see these two bad boys here. I'll unbox this one as a B-roll so you guys can see that. But one of my favorite DNAs is Terre d'Hermès, but I obviously have issues with longevity. This is from the House of Kriegler, and this is a Blue Escapade. Now, Blue Escapade is a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic fragrance. The thing that gets me with this fragrance is how similar it is to Terre d'Hermès, but how long this lasts. And it just lasts and lasts and lasts, and it goes and goes and goes. Fantastic. The blendability is amazing. The opening is a little bit different than Terre d'Hermès, but when you get there in the dry down, divine. Absolutely what I'm looking for. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I can't find Kriegler on discounters. And you're absolutely right. It's zero availability in discounters. You have to go retail unless you find somebody who's actually selling it and is tired of it or just wants money. And the thing with it is, it is expensive, but it's a fragrance to me that masters the DNA that I love. So to me, to shell out the type of money for it, fine. It is what it is. It's a gift to myself. It's, something that it's my end all be all. Anything that comes out with a Terre d'Hermès DNA, like a Perseus or like a Vetiver Imperial from BTV or like a Basso from Sospiro, I don't care. I don't need to explore those options. So this to me is the end all be all. I'm done, right? I don't need anything else in the Terre d'Hermès, the Vetiver Orange Fig category, right? That's what I love about this fragrance. It's just wonderful. It's easy to wear. So fun. And I'm done. I'm done. I don't need anything else. You're going to notice this in a lot of the videos coming up now. Kriegler is going to be mentioned because to me, I think Kriegler is going to be an endgame house. Such as talks of Henry Jacques and some of the artisanal stuff that I'll be mentioning. Speaking of artisanal, from one of my favorite houses, Jinko Store, this is actually a part of their niche collection, and this is Oud Noir. Oud Noir is spectacular stuff. Now, what I like to kind of discuss with this fragrance is, even though it's a niche fragrance, technically, it's developed by an artisanal perfumer. The ingredients that are being used are of artisanal quality. So even though it's more wearable as a niche fragrance in comparison to the other artisanal offerings that we're going to talk about, the way that this fragrance is formulated and crafted is just beyond words. This is a redefinition of the niche category type of fragrance. And why I say that is the quality is unmatched. The blending is unmatched. This is a deeply woody leather fragrance mixed with some beautiful resinous sweetness. And the way that it wears and the way that it develops and the way that it stays and the low amount of sprays that you need for it to be an effective fragrance and still last the whole day is surprising. This is the benchmark, in my honest opinion. When I smell niche fragrances and I see niche fragrances adding oud, To me, I'm just like, this is what we're looking for, but we're not getting, right? I do like Xerjoff Alexandria too. I do find it fine and great, but it's not anywhere in comparison to this and the punch that it brings, but still the wearability. And I think the wearability is the biggest factor with this. Beautiful ingredients being used, the quality of ingredients, you can just immediately tell. Better than Tobacco Sapphire, right? And that just speaks volumes because Tobacco Sapphire's ingredients are just stunning. This is just a benchmark type of fragrance, which, again, if you got a niche line made by a artisanal perfumer, bravo, right? Bravo. I think more of them should be doing that. Now, going to artisanal, we're going to speak about two options here because I think both of the perfumers are wonderful, and they both offer a different experience. This is from Jinx Smells. This is a wonderful, wonderful experience. This is Tigerwood Antique. Discontinued. You won't be able to find it. Super, super rare. This is messed. I'm just gonna read off because again, to kind of outline what's happening in this fragrance is difficult. Okay, before I release the notes and stuff like that, what you get with this is an antique wooden type of smell. It smells so different, so unique, almost to the fact that the opening kind of smells like bacon. But then when it starts drying down, and it's not like a meaty type of feel, it's just more so of that, like, I don't know, the fat bubbles bursting in the air, and you get that, like, that taste that kind of, sparks your nose and makes you very interested, like that. But then it really starts drying down into this wonderful antique woody feeling that's just unique. And even though I'm going to mention the note breakdown here, it's not in any, coincidence that this is what it's going to smell like. Just think again, it's very woody, it's very different, it's very old, dusty. That's the type of feeling that you're getting with this fragrance. It's more about an experience than so, you kind of going out there and smelling good. It's just more so about that storytelling aspect that artisanal fragrances generally do. So you're looking at a 41% extrait de parfum. You're looking at ingredients that are vintage. So at the top, you're getting some purple sage, clove, conifer, vintage, cajeput, palo santo, so wood, cacao, white lotus, yellow lotus, blue lotus, espresso, aged patchouli, Mexican vanilla, and iris. Then you're getting a Terengganu oud, Miatkina oud, excuse my pronunciation, vintage copaiba balsam, vintage castoreum, Mysore sandalwood, bakul, black and white ambergris, vintage Kashmiri deer musk from the Oman treasury. Medicinal, artisanal, incense, oud, wood varnish. It's a journey that this fragrance takes you on. It's the creator, so Arthur from Jinx Smells is the mastermind behind this fragrance. And what he's done is he's created a spiritual journey in a bottle that you got to experience at least once in your life. Look for some of his newer stuff that are coming out because almost, to be honest, everything that I've gotten from him has been a home run, even from a floral standpoint, from a tea standpoint. It's just different. It's unique. And speaking about different and unique, let's talk about Ensar Oud on the artisanal side. Now, Santel Sultan is so good. It's so wearable. It's such a great introductory into this type of category. Beautiful blonde sandalwood, just enough to be creamy, but you get that wonderful white woody type of feeling with this fragrance. The quality is superb. You're not going to find a better sandalwood fragrance. I do have one that's probably better, and it is from Jenks Smells. But regardless, this one is so good, and it's available. It's just wonderful. It's so easy to wear. You wear this fragrance, again, minimal sprays, you're in heaven. You feel comforted. You feel like the quality of the ingredients are by far some of the best. And you can even tell, like in the back of this fragrance, the see-through, you're going to see some sandalwood floating around in the fragrance so that it macerates really well. That's that artisanal touch that a lot of these other fragrances do not offer. And a lot of these are based off of heavy oils, right? The oil concentration is just in a different league in comparison to some of the other fragrances that we've talked about. So that's the difference that you're getting with artisanal. You're getting something that's more potent. You need less wearings, sometimes more so a journey for yourself more than others. And sometimes you get something that's truly wearable, truly unique, and it's something you can go out and feel comfortable with and know that you're the most unique and best smelling person in the room. Lastly, what we'll talk about is pure oils. No alcohol, no dilution, nothing. Pure viscous oils. This one that I have in my hand is applied via stick. You give it a swipe on your wrist, a swipe on your wrist, maybe just a little brush down, a little brush down. You could swipe here, you could swipe here. This one is a pure Haitian vetiver oil. Pure. It's so good. It's so calming. It's so different. It's so unique. When you're wearing oils like this, and I have quite a few Ensar oils, I have quite a few Jinko Store oils, I have quite a few Henry Jacques oils. When you're wearing fragrances like this is a little bit more personal. There will be people when they come into you and they smell you, they'll smell you. You'll fully be emitting a wonderful scent. But if you're looking for that projection, it's just not necessarily there to do that unless you really apply like a lot, which is not the case because in comparison, when you see 100 ml bottle, in comparison, when you see 100 ml bottle to 3 grams of oil, this 3 grams of oil should technically last you a very long time, almost to the equivalency of 75 ml of fragrance, right? Because when you're getting the stick is just, you're just taking it off of the surface when you're putting it on. It's roughly I think in my experience, 0.02 ml. So, that's kind of the math behind it. But super, super potent stuff. Really, really high quality stuff. These are the oils that really speak volumes when you're talking about, the artisanal side. And this Haitian vetiver is really, vetiver at its forefront. There's tones that come out near the end of the fragrance, but if you really want to explore vetiver in its purest form, I have Indian vetiver as well to compare, and you do notice the different nuances to it. This is the type of stuff that helps you kind of figure out notes and what they're used for. And then when you start going backwards in the journey, you say, okay, now I understand why designers do the things that they do, and there's inexperiences there because there's things that are a little bit more pronounced. The balancing is not there, right? Because sometimes maybe you just put it based off of a recipe and you just don't know. But this kind of allows you to expand your mind, and depending where you go, I got this from Habzoud. You can go on their website. $40. $40 for 3 grams of pure Haitian vetiver. Wearable. You can wear this. Like, this is not just, oh, I'm going to create a fragrance and put, vetiver oil in it. That's not what it's. You can wear this and explore it and see what the vetiver experience is like. And it's just truly, truly magnificent. So, you know, oils are a wonderful thing. Oils are very nice to apply. Great for layering if you just want maybe that extra punch. Again, the Jinko store oils that I have wear so much more differently. They're full bodied, full experiences. You know, sunset in Dhaka, sunset in Oman, and you get the beautiful sweetnesses, the beautiful fruits, the peaches, in various different types of oils that are created, and that alone is great enough for a fragrance wearing. So, you know, the thing that I really want to kind of explain or kind of emphasize in this video after kind of going through what we went through is there are things that are going to cost what they cost. And then it's going to be up to you to kind of figure out that justification if it makes sense, right? A lot of designers and designer privés that we get, a lot of people pushing the LVs right now because LVs are the hype. You're not necessarily getting what you're paying for. You're getting a great experience, but you're not getting what you're paying for. And I do think it's priced extremely high. But it is what it is. I mean, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. But don't be afraid to explore. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. Diversify your mindset and start experiencing, you know, some of the oils, some of the artisanal, some of the luxury niche fragrances, especially if you feel like, you know, neroli is one of your favorite notes, or tobacco is one of your favorite notes, or oud is one of your favorite notes, or, you know, you kind of sit there and say, I really want a dank oud, right? Find it, go and find it, and don't settle. Right? The moment you start settling, you're going to start wasting your money because you're not going to be satisfied. You're going to look for the next thing. You're going to be disappointed again. You're not going to be satisfied. You're going to look for the next thing, and you're just going to keep going in circles and circles and circles. That's kind of my talking point for this video. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what, maybe show me even show me a discovery that you guys found. As well, that you're really proud of bringing up. Put that in the comments section as well. Much love. Thank you for joining me, and peace out. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.